Have you noticed something strange about your brain lately? You sit down to work, you open your laptop, you know exactly what you should be doing, but somehow you can't focus. Focus looks like a burden that you can't bear. Your mind jumps from one thought to another. You check your phone, then another tab, then another notification. Before you realize it, 1 hour is gone, sometimes 3 hours. And the worst part, you feel mentally exhausted. Even though you barely did anything, you try to focus but encounter a pull back to other things that is insignificant. If this sounds familiar, you're not lazy. Your brain is simply overstimulated, fragmented, and exhausted. And today we're going to talk about why your brain can't focus anymore. The psychology behind modern distraction. What lack of focus is secretly doing to your brain. How to rebuild deep focus again, and a simple daily routine that trains your brain to concentrate like before. But first, you need to understand something important. Your brain was never designed for the modern world, and the modern world was never designed to train your brain to focus on things that matters to your destiny. Let's go back thousands of years ago. Human survival depended on deep attention. When early humans hunted, built tools, or tracked animals, they needed to concentrate for long periods. Their brains were wired for deep focus. In neuroscience, this state is sometimes called sustained attention. When you enter deep focus, your prefrontal cortex becomes highly active. Your brain filters irrelevant information. Dopamine supports motivation and persistence. Neural circuits strengthen through repetition. This state allows humans to do incredible things. Write books, build inventions, solve complex problems, create art. But something changed. Modern life introduced constant stimulation, and your brain never evolved for it. Every day, your brain is bombarded with stimulation, notifications, short videos, endless scrolling, messages, emails, headlines, tabs, music, background noise. Your brain is constantly switching contexts, and every time you switch tasks, something important happens. Your brain loses energy. Research in cognitive psychology shows that task switching drains mental resources. Each switch forces your brain to reorient attention, recall context, restart cognitive processes. This creates what scientists call attention residue. Part of your mind remains stuck on the previous task, which means you're never fully present in the current one. Over time, this damages your ability to focus deeply. Your brain becomes addicted to novelty. New notification, new video, new information. Each one releases dopamine, the brain's reward chemical, and your brain slowly learns something dangerous. It learns that quick stimulation is more rewarding than deep effort. So when you try to concentrate, your brain resists. Not because you're lazy, but because your brain has been trained to seek distraction. Let me remind you that nothing is a distraction until you give it attention. Nothing is a distraction if you don't focus your time and energy to it. Here's a truth most people never realize. Nothing is actually a distraction. A distraction only becomes powerful when you give it your attention. Your phone is not a distraction. A notification is not a distraction. A video is not a distraction. They only become distractions when your brain chooses them over your intention. And the currency that fuels distractions is three things: time, energy, attention. Wherever these three go, your life follows. Your focus determines your future. Every time you shift your attention away from something meaningful, you are literally training your brain to avoid depth. Your brain becomes skilled at scanning instead of thinking, skimming instead of understanding, reacting instead of creating, and slowly your ability to focus begins to fade. The problem is not that you are distracted. The problem is what you permit to distract. What lack of focus does to your brain. Most people think lack of focus is just a productivity issue, But it's actually a neurological problem. When your brain constantly jumps between tasks, several things happen. First, your prefrontal cortex weakens. This area of the brain controls decision-making, discipline, and attention. Deep focus strengthens this region. Constant distraction weakens it. Second, your brain's dopamine system becomes dysregulated. Fast stimulation like short videos, social media, and constant novelty release dopamine rapidly. Over time, this raises your brain's stimulation threshold, which means normal tasks start to feel boring. Reading a book becomes hard. Studying becomes painful. Working feels exhausting. Third, your brain's mental endurance collapses. Focus is like a muscle. If you never train it, it weakens. People who constantly multitask slowly lose the ability to stay on one task for long periods, and the consequences appear everywhere in life. You procrastinate more. You struggle to finish projects. Your productivity drops. Your thinking becomes shallow. Your creativity declines. And your goals start feeling impossible. But the good news is this: your brain is incredibly adaptable. This is called neuroplasticity, which means you can retrain your brain to focus again. When you enter deep focus, something powerful happens inside your brain. Several neural systems activate simultaneously. First, your prefrontal cortex locks onto a goal. When this area suppresses irrelevant signals. Second, dopamine begins supporting motivation and persistence. But unlike quick dopamine spikes from social media, this dopamine is stable and sustained. Third, your brain enters what psychologists call a flow state. In this state, time feels slower or faster. Your mind becomes fully immersed. Your brain processes information more efficiently. During deep focus, your brain also releases norepinephrine, which sharpens attention and alertness. And interestingly, deep focus reduces activity in something called the default mode network. This network is responsible for mind wandering, which means when you are fully focused, your brain literally stops drifting. This is why deep work feels so satisfying. Your brain is operating exactly how it was designed. The good news is that you can train your brain to focus. You can train it to avoid irrelevant activities, thereby focusing on what really matters. It may take time, it may be hard from the beginning, but it's worth it. Reasons why focus feels hard in the beginning. If your brain has been living on quick stimulation for months or years, deep focus will feel uncomfortable at first. You may feel restless, bored, mentally tired, impatient. This is normal. Your brain is going through something similar to dopamine withdrawal. It's adjusting to lower stimulation levels. But if you persist, something amazing happens. Within a few weeks, your brain begins to rebuild its focus circuits. Tasks become easier, your mind becomes clearer, your productivity increases, and you start experiencing deep work satisfaction again. But you can't train your brain to be focused without following some daily routine. If you want to rebuild your focus, you need to train your brain daily. Here's a simple routine. Step 1, protect your first hour. The first hour after waking up is extremely powerful. Your brain is fresh and highly plastic. Avoid social media, notifications, emails, news. Instead, use this hour for deep thinking or meaningful work. This trains your brain to prioritize focus over stimulation. Step 2, work in focus blocks. Train your brain with structured focus sessions. Work for 45 to 60 minutes without interruption, then take a short break. During these sessions, close unnecessary tabs, silence notifications, remove visual clutter. The goal is to teach your brain single tasking again. Step 3, reduce dopamine overload. Limit activities that flood your brain with stimulation. Examples include endless scrolling, constant short videos, switching between apps repeatedly. These activities train your brain to seek novelty instead of depth. The less you rely on quick stimulation, the easier focus becomes. Step 4. Practice mental stillness. Spend a few minutes daily in silence. No phone, no music, no screens, just your thoughts. This strengthens your brain's ability to tolerate stillness, which is essential for deep thinking. Step 5. Train your attention. Like a muscle, focus improves through repetition. Every time you resist distraction, you strengthen your brain's attention circuits. Every time you choose depth over stimulation, you rebuild your mind. There's something most people never realize. When your life is shaped by what you pay attention to, attention is the most valuable resource you have. More valuable than money, more valuable than time. Because attention determines how your time is spent. When your attention is controlled by algorithms, your life becomes reactive. But when you control your attention, your life becomes intentional. And the difference between average lives and extraordinary ones often comes down to one simple ability: the ability to focus deeply on meaningful things. If you've made it this far, here's something I want you to remember. Your brain is not broken. It has simply been trained by the modern world. But the same brain can be retrained. You can rebuild focus. You can reclaim your attention. And once you do, you'll realize something powerful. Deep focus is a superpower in a distracted world. If this video helped you understand your mind better, make sure to subscribe to the channel for more psychology and self-mastery content. And in the comments, tell me this: what distracts you the most during the day? Because awareness is always the first step to control. Thanks for watching. And remember, where your attention goes, your life follows.